you'll notice a pattern breaker right away. It's not about buying more. It's about spending smart, automating decisions, and letting your money work for you quietly every single day. At the same time, you'll recognize how tiny leaks sabotage your results and how simple tweaks bring back control and mental clarity without the pain. Nothing here demands perfection. It just asks for honest discipline and practical consistency anyone can follow, step by step, no drama. With a touch of personal entrepreneurship, every dollar gets a job and every choice gets a purpose. In that simplicity, the self-confidence that supports bigger decisions finally takes root, right when it matters most. Transformation starts off the radar. 7 days of pause before non-essential buys, a 30-day reset to free up 10 to 20% of your budget, and a commitment to habits that don't earn likes, but do earn freedom. The result? Less impulse, more strategy. Less anxiety, more outcomes. Less spotlight, more net worth. Quietly, like planting in the dark to harvest in daylight. Before you know it, your routine pulls you upward because consistency creates gravity in your favor. The path is provocative yet clear. Emotional control to decide, discipline to sustain, and self-confidence to keep going. Ready to uncover the quiet moves few people talk about, but that change everything when you actually apply them? Truly wealthy people aren't flashing balances. They're protecting their time, peace, and emotional freedom. They've learned that real entrepreneurship doesn't live in shop windows. It's the power to choose your own pace without chasing applause. It's discipline, not demonstration. Those who seek emotional control learn that silence signals more power than any speech. And in that silence, results begin showing up with consistency. Those who get this don't feel the need to prove anything. Every decision lands with confidence, and every step is an investment in freedom. Motivational phrases aren't just for inspiration. They're reminders to keep the focus on purpose over status. It's revealing how the more someone masters emotional control, the less they feel like showing off. When you have clarity, you don't need to justify yourself. Being rich in silence is almost an art, a daily practice of discipline and emotional intelligence. The money that comes in serves independence more than ego. It's about building peace, not a stage. Once your mind settles into that pattern, the game flips for good, because the next move starts when you grasp the true value of what you don't broadcast. Financing a new car looks like a win, but often it's just a quiet agreement to give up bigger results later, because interest shreds your monthly cash flow without mercy. When you stack the payment against what you could invest each month, that new car smell reveals a hidden price tag that erodes long-term wealth building. With entrepreneurial thinking, you run the cold math and see emotional control is worth its weight in gold. Discipline isn't saying no forever, it's saying yes at the right time with a plan. That way, confidence grows because the decision is rational, not impulsive, and the results follow right on schedule. There's a simple trick. Compare the financing APR to your potential investment returns and the total cost of credit over the years, including the effective total cost, ETC. In many cases, the gap is brutal. A 100K REIS vehicle can cost around $150K after down payment, plus 60 installments at a typical market rate, while the asset depreciates month after month. With consistency, you'd rather build a stronger down payment or even delay the purchase, cutting total interest and budget risk. That takes emotional control and personal entrepreneurship, deciding like a manager, not a consumer. Result? Less financial anxiety and more room to invest without guilt. The game flips when desire becomes a plan. Automate monthly contributions, simulate scenarios, and set a purchase goal that doesn't choke the cash flow fueling your net worth. If financing is unavoidable, compare banks' effective rates and terms, then pick the lowest total cost while keeping a safety buffer in your budget. That discipline stops a dream from bleeding cash for years and trains the self-confidence of someone who's firmly at the wheel. With inner mantras like build first, show later, impulse loses steam and you keep a cool head. Funny enough, when the next step arrives, you may realize the best investment doesn't smell like a new car. It smells like freedom. You learn your mind performs better when it isn't deciding all the time. So you automate your budget and protect your energy like a rare asset, the hallmark of personal entrepreneurship. The rule is simple and powerful. Every non-essential purchase sleeps for 7 days before any click, because consistency is born from well-guarded micro-decisions. In that window, emotional control does its magic. The shine fades, and reason returns to the table. Discipline isn't punishment, it's choosing without pressure and living without regret. Confidence grows as wins repeat month after month. No drama. Automation means paying yourself first. Investing, emergency savings, and essentials go out before your brain invents reasons to spend. You remove daily friction and give a standing yes to results, like pre-programming your future to work in your favor. The rest becomes conscious budgeting. Clear limits, clear purpose, leaving no room for pricey improvisation. That setup keeps daily moods from bossing your money around and turns emotional control into routine. Over time, discipline becomes habit, and habit becomes real financial consistency. The mantra behind the quotes here is simple. Every dollar has a job. Repeat it until it becomes reflex, because the plan outruns impulse with ease. Financial entrepreneurship is energy management as much as number management. Fewer tiny decisions, more focus on what matters. If a purchase isn't essential, it sleeps 7 days. If it wakes up dull, it was just a passing urge and you save the time and money. Confidence shows up when the balance grows without constant babysitting. And once you learn to program your money, you grow to love the quiet, the kind that prepares the ground for what comes next. You realize quiet wealth grows from things that don't make the feed, conveniences that buy back time, health, and focus, like a cleaner, a gym membership, or therapy, that look like expenses but buy productivity with consistency. That's true personal entrepreneurship, putting energy where it multiplies results, not where it only earns applause. With emotional control, you invest where no one comments, but life gets better across the board. Discipline here is saying yes to the invisible and no to what only shines on the surface. Confidence grows as your body and mind become silent financial allies. Every hour freed by a smart convenience becomes a high-performance hour. To study, produce, rest better, and think with strategic clarity, and that pays off in hard results. Therapy quiets inner noise, strengthens emotional control, and prevents impulsive choices that cost a fortune long-term. Fitness boosts the energy to stay disciplined when motivation dips, and that changes the game. These invisible investments deliver slow but steady ROI, building consistency without stress. It's in the backstage that the foundation for big choices is poured. The motivational lines that actually work here are backstage lines. My time is my asset, and health sustains wealth, repeated until they turn into automatic behavior. With growing confidence, you stop proving anything by buying flashy stuff. You'd rather fund well-being and mental clarity. The result isn't a spectacle, it's a lighter life, with margin to think bigger and execute better. That's the kind of consistency nobody claps for, but every portfolio feels. Once the base is firm, the next decision gets surprisingly simple. You learn that running your money in silent mode is a form of emotional armor. It protects your decisions and your relationships, because those who talk less about money often work more consistently behind the scenes. There's no merit in announcing salary, bonuses, or big buys. The merit is in building wealth without an audience, with discipline and a long-view focus. That's personal entrepreneurship. Channel energy into real results, not vanity. Motivational phrases turn inward, quiet cues, not public captions. Confidence grows when you realize your path doesn't need anyone's validation. Discretion also avoids toxic comparisons and social traps, the kind that push spending just to keep up. With emotional control, you preserve intention and strategy instead of flaunting status signals that don't pay bills. The habit of not discussing gains and plans lowers risk, including can't-miss invites that drain money and time. Discipline here is saying no to empty conversations, saving mental energy for big calls. Results then show up slowly and steadily, without noise. Curiously, when you stop announcing wins, you start winning more. Focus, routine, and consistency become the real stage. Confidence replaces the display case, and your wealth finally gets room to grow without outside pressure. Life entrepreneurship is this. Let the money work in the dark while the mind stays clear. Motivational lines become quiet fuel like, build first, show later. And once silence turns into strategy, it becomes far easier to delay wants, setting up the next move with a cool head. You discover that waiting is a powerful form of personal entrepreneurship. Researching prices, comparing models, and waiting for sales turns impulse into strategy, and strategy into consistent results over time. With emotional control, every not yet becomes a yes with a discount, And the difference goes in as an investment that earns interest instead of regret. Discipline here is a method. Before buying, ask, can I sell something I own to offset this? And often cut the total cost close to zero. Motivational cues form your safety rail. Those who wait, pay less and earn more. In the end, confidence grows because you master desire instead of it mastering you. The playbook is simple and effective. Every non-essential purchase sleeps 7 days, long enough for the glow to fade and reason to return, like a quiet consistency test. Meanwhile, you hunt coupons, cashback, loyalty points, and price histories to dodge common marketing traps. If the urge survives, you buy with a cool head, and keep the rule of selling something idle to reallocate capital without bloating your budget. This habit sharpens emotional control and builds automatic discipline in daily money moves. The result? Less clutter, more cash for what truly matters. Delaying desires isn't punishment. It's training the confidence muscle that carries bigger decisions later, when risk is higher and mistakes cost more. Time becomes an ally. It not only unlocks discounts, but also filters out trends that turn to dust, preserving consistency and peace of mind. It's an inner culture. Build wealth first, consume later, in the right order, without guilt. With this rhythm, motivational lines stop being lines and turn into a posture that guides your financial life lightly. And once waiting becomes second nature, living below your means starts to feel surprisingly natural. You pick a modest home and route the difference into automatic investments, because personal entrepreneurship is choosing today the ground where tomorrow's results will grow. With consistency, a 6 to 12-month emergency fund becomes priority, shielding your mind and strengthening emotional control in rough weather. Discipline here is routine. Payday equals invest day, no internal debate. Motivational tracks lay the rails. Lifestyle later, net worth first. Confidence climbs when you feel month after month that freedom beats appearances, and you can sense it in the quiet of a closed month. Building multiple income streams becomes an ongoing game. Primary income, side income, and passive income, each with a role and tangible targets. You learn marketable skills, spend time strategically, and reinvest when possible to widen your productive base. Emotional control blocks comparison and hurry. Each stream grows at its own pace without breaking the budget. Discipline means not hijacking contributions for short-term wants, no matter how tempting. With consistency, results creep in quietly and stick. A 30-day reset clears the excess. Cancel dead subscriptions, renegotiate bills, sell what you don't use, and reset spending caps to free up 10-20% for investing. You measure before and after, because those who measure lead with confidence. Entrepreneurship looks like this day to day. Small course corrections that compound into big differences in 12 months. Motivational lines stop decorating and start focusing you when impulse calls. With that base set, a short, sharp challenge can bend the curve of this month. Ready for the next quiet move. You decide on a 30-day reset and treat it like a personal entrepreneurship project. For 1 month, cut non-essentials, renegotiate contracts, and set hard rules for every dollar, aiming to free 10-20% for consistent investing. Emotional control steps in when invites and great deals pop up. You remember that discipline today buys freedom tomorrow. Motivational cues act like passcodes. Not a no forever, just a yes to my results right now. Confidence climbs with each small win. A canceled subscription, a reduced plan, a sold item. In the end, what seemed small becomes powerful margin to quietly accelerate your contributions. The process has a simple script. Week 1, audit. List everything from coffee to hidden fees. Week 2, renegotiate. Internet, sell, insurance, gym. Week 3, sell, move idle stuff. Week 4, redefine. Spending caps and automated contributions. Consistency lives in measuring before and after, like a manager demanding concrete results. With emotional control, you resist the old pattern and keep the new layout for another 30 days until it hardens into habit. Discipline here isn't harsh. It's a clear, repeatable method. Result? A lighter budget, with surplus working for you, not against you. To lock it in, you set up a win board in plain sight. Every saving gets transferred to an investment account as an immediate prize, reinforcing confidence and consistency. Everyday entrepreneurship shows up in the details. A renegotiated bill becomes more contributions. A sold item becomes fresh cash. With short motivational lines, less noise, more net worth, you sustain momentum when hype dips. Emotional control prevents relapses triggered by social comparison, keeping your eyes on what matters. Once the flywheel spins, you realize the next step is turning this reset into a lifestyle. You build quiet rituals, a weekly spend review, limit adjustments, and a month-end close, because consistency is born in routine, not impulse. That's everyday entrepreneurship. Write it down, measure it, correct it. That turns small decisions into big outcomes over time. With emotional control, you avoid financial blackouts and spot sneaky drains early, like forgotten subscriptions and daily snacks. Discipline shows up in repetition, even when you don't feel like it. And that's what bends the curve over months. Confidence grows as what once slipped away becomes steady contributions. Simple tools help. A spreadsheet, a finance app, or even a notebook, updated the same day and time every week as a standing appointment with your net worth. The process is light. List, categorize, compare with last month, and adjust overspent categories. That weekly micro move avoids surprises and keeps room for steady results without drama. Short motivational anchors keep you grounded. What gets measured gets better, reminding you that discipline is freedom being built. Once the routine spins, money stops leaking down the drain of forgetfulness. The finishing touch is turning reviews into action triggers. See a delivery spike, set a quick cook target, see a dead subscription, cancel and invest the savings the same day. Emotional control prevents relapses from social comparison and keeps your mind on your own path. No outside noise. This simple practice forges a quiet inner rhythm of confidence that supports bigger decisions later. Entrepreneurship is exactly this, improving a little bit every week without spotlights. Once habit turns into identity, silence takes over, laying the groundwork for ironclad emotional armor. You realize that prospering in silence demands emotional shielding, resisting comparison, avoiding the urge to prove your worth, and keeping focus on your own results with daily consistency. That's the heart of personal entrepreneurship, choosing the long road with discipline, even when no one's watching or clapping. Motivational lines become a compass, short, direct, reminding you that emotional control pays invisible dividends before it shows up as visible wealth. Confidence grows because it no longer depends on others' eyes. It rests on measured, repeatable progress. When the mind quiets down, money works in peace instead of drifting toward purchases with no purpose. The method is simple and steady. Cut time in feeds that trigger comparison, limit money, talk about gains and plans, and add weekly checkpoints to recalibrate goals and expectations.